Is it possible that she cheated on him with her coworkers? Reddit stories, Reddit cheating stories, cheating stories. Katrina found her husband, me, and 3 of her male co-workers gathering in our living room when she arrived home from her weekly bridge party, which was a hive of neighborhood gossip. "What the hell kind of gathering are you guys having here?" she asked after she had calmed down from her first horror. "This is the night you will at last receive what you have been longing for an extended period of time." I eventually said it in a serious tone after you had been bugging me for several months about how awful I was in every way and how much better the people in your office were than me. I would have found the ideal solution if I could have had a man instead of you. I decided to do something about it since you kept saying this line over and over again. I would lose a lot of money following our divorce if I were to divorce you. This is the main reason I haven't decided to get a divorce from you yet. My quality of life would have significantly declined. For the moment, Katrina, who was standing on the living room entrance, remained silent. The men in the room were silent as well, and she was trying to figure out what was going on. I was finally able to come up with a solution that would work for us both. These gentlemen were invited to attend the auction. I decided to put it up a lot in order to fulfill my responsibility as your lawful husband. I know there were a couple of other males you were interested in, but they either turned me down or were worried their wives would find out about the arrangement. Why are you completely insane? I never hissed at me before moving in with you, and when I did wake up, it was because I had tetanus. I was about to lose my mind. I was able to reply only when I got this amazing idea. I sincerely hope you find it enjoyable as well. After that, I turned back to my wife and said, "Now, to be fair to you guys," I said to the guests, "you will have to demonstrate your best sexual skills to each of them, honey. It would be unjust to expect them to pay for something without providing any explanation because they have no idea what a cat is." I corrected myself much more specifically. Nobody finds it enjoyable to purchase a pig in a poem. The man seated nodded his head in accord, and I held out my hand to indicate the master bedroom. I prepared our bedroom by placing a pack of condoms, 2 lubricant tubes, 2 wet wipes, and extra sheets in case something went wrong. You gentlemen will draw with straws to determine who gets to test it first. Katrina turned to face the men sat on the sofa, and she saw that they were all looking at her with the same curious look that she had been accustomed to seeing when they approached her desk in the office to flirt. "Are you really thinking that he can put me up for auction, gentlemen?" She said something indignant as she put her hands on her hips. I interrupted her by lifting my index finger and said, "Stop, stop. Since I'm your spouse, rather than selling you directly, I'm selling my place." I shook my head a little towards the guests who were invited and who should have my rightful place in all family affairs, including your loving wife's sex life. "You're implying that, with minimal effort on my part, any of them, Gu or Rozzo, for example, could accomplish it more successfully than I could. We are going to find out now, on the night that lies ahead of us." The boys exchanged excited smiles with one another while Katrina struggled to comprehend what she had just been informed. "So, Katrina, you have a decision to make. You also have the option to participate in the auction by placing a bid. Either you will have every male you could possibly want, or none at all. I will first take the whole amount of your profits, subtract it from your portion of our assets, and then add my share to the remaining amount. Then I'll release you from my controlling presence and set out to explore unexplored territories." "I should have a drink?" The shocked wife took a sip of her drink. "My objective is not to rush you. I told her to give each man enough time to decide how vital it is for him to be with you, but you have to do that. You've determined that I've been such a bad wife for you, are you really going to pull off such a naive and sleazy ploy?" She pouted on her lips. That was, in fact, the case. I nodded slightly. My next course of action was to get a divorce from you and leave the place. If we got divorced, I would let you pay for it. Permit me to now continue with a hit parade of instances that demonstrate your disdainful attitude towards me. I pressed a button and played the tape I had recorded of the derogatory remarks she had hurled at me during the preceding few months in front of a home audience. This entry was written in a very raspy voice, lamenting my lack of income, my lack of cleaning habits, the folly of my political convictions, my dreadful bore, and, all in all, how completely uncreative I am in bed. My lack of inventiveness was brought up in regard to all of these things. She was so angry with herself for the revelations that by the time the recording ended, she started crying. "Gentlemen, The choice of what to do is yours. You asked me whether or not I should stay married to this woman after hearing her opinion of me. One by one, as they went through the motions, they would say, "Nah, dude," or "Hell no," and then they would get up and turn down the offer to take my place because they no longer found her spouse to be as attractive. Two of them expressed their sadness that I was married to such a gargoyle. Even as they were leaving the house. Released from the clutches of would-be suitors, Katrina fell back into the couch and kept wailing. "Hey Addison, I'm sorry so much, Katrina, I share your sadness. I definitely should have held off on scaring them away so early, but there was a chance they might hold out until you had a chance to have sex with each of them. At this stage, you have to start the whole process over with a new set of possible husband candidates. I'll leave you with my best hopes for a successful outcome in this circumstance. I apologize, but where have you been?" She leapt up immediately. "You can see that things did not turn out the way I had planned. Your possible suitors fled, dispersing like cockroaches. Plan B's execution has commenced. 50% of my belongings have already been moved, and I am currently traveling with 2 suitcases that I brought with me. I'm not even sure where I'm heading for the time being, but I know I won't be staying here." Katrina gave a high-pitched screech. "That is true that I do not want that for myself, since I would be the one walking out of the courtroom the biggest loser, my nerve endings scorched, and my bank account emptied. So I'm just heading. It goes without saying that you are free to get a divorce from me." "Not at all, my intention in saying that is that I will not be divorcing you. My wish is to stay married to you. I implore you to give me the chance to straighten things up. There is a really simple way to accomplish this. A1 You should subscribe to our channel if you want to ensure that your second chaff doesn't deceive you. You should also be sure to hear the story that follows, as this one pales in contrast to the one that follows. The next one is not even worth considering to listen to if you are under the age of 18.